Hi everyone, I am Whitney Chandler, the Youth Program Manager at Fish Trap, and I am here today to be able to offer you some resources as you head into summer vacation. So let's jump right in. So I have named this lesson Writing, Mindfulness, and Tools for the Summer. Now, writing, easy. You've got that covered. You know how to do that. You probably started learning how to do that in first grade. I would like to talk to you a little bit about mindfulness. Now, mindfulness is kind of a buzzword that a lot of people use to describe a lot of different things. There's not really a solid definition for what mindfulness is. It means a lot to different people, and I would encourage you to come up with your own definition. What I would consider mindfulness is being present and being in your present moment. The way that you can do this is by connecting to your breath. This is a tool that you have, that you possess anywhere that you go. The way that I use it is to be able to calm me down and bring me here, where I am sitting in this chair in my office, so that I can prepare to do some writing. I make it sound like preparing to do some writing is like this big, epic ordeal, and it doesn't have to be. It is just a conscious decision to be able to sit here and take in your surroundings, put it on paper. No one ever has to read it. Okay, I'm gonna preface it with that. So let's try a little exercise. It is called square breathing. I'm going to show an image on the screen here in just a minute, and you are going to use the outline of the square to be able to track your breath. I know it sounds like maybe you don't need a square to be able to breathe because your body does it just without ever thinking about it on a day-to-day basis, right? But it is about tuning into your body, becoming here. The square has directions on it, so it will, on the left-hand side, tell you where to start, and then it will go across to tell you to hold your breath, and then to breathe again, hold your breath, breathe again. Now, I would like for you to connect to your body and connect to your breath by following it with your fingertip. If you have a touch screen, make sure that you don't touch your screen and move it all around. But it will really help you to count and get back into your body. I think that you will find that the more times that you do it, the more comforting that it is. It gets into a meditative state, kind of like the umbrellas that you see twisted at you when you're trying to go under hypnosis. It creates the same effect, positive effects on your brain. And I want to get us started with just breathing. Next, I'm going to show the image. It'll be on your screen for about 30 seconds. So take your time, settle in, make sure that your paper and pen are ready next to you, and let's do some breathing. Place your finger in the bottom left corner and breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath as you move your finger across the top of the square. 3, 4. Breathe out as you move down the right side. 3, 4. Hold your breath, move across the bottom. 3, 4, and start again. Breathe in, hold your breath, breathe out. Continue on your own. All right, is your heart rate down? Are you here? Even if maybe you're still feeling up here, that's all right. We're gonna try our best to be right here. So first, we're going to start off with a free write. We are going to take about 5 to 6 minutes. It's going to be completely up to you because you can hit pause on this video, and you're going to spend it how your time frame. I prefer if it was 5 minutes. Write every single thought that comes to your mind about this present moment. I want you to look around where you are. Notice what you see. You can start off by just writing what is in the room with you. If you're having a certain kind of feeling today, if you're feeling anxious, if you are feeling claustrophobic, if you are feeling jazzed because you love rainy weather and it's super gray and rainy outside, roll with it. Whatever it is that you are thinking about, you are experiencing, you are feeling, you are smelling, you are physically feeling, not just emotion-wise, the back of your chair. Get your brain rolling and get into your writing headspace and start to journal. Just go for it. Grammar doesn't matter, spelling doesn't matter. You are just putting your thoughts on paper. Give it a shot. All right, so for however long that you sat and wrote, I'm hoping that it's at least 5 minutes. You just started your journal. Congratulations. Now, a journal is a powerful tool that you can use anytime that you have a pen and paper. It does not have to be in a notebook. You don't have to continue to write in the same spot every single time. You can write on a piece of napkin and then throw it in your backpack, as long as you are writing and processing your thoughts. Now, I would encourage you to get a notebook and designate it to this summer. If you think about it, this is a summer unlike any other that a student has experienced, as anyone has experienced. This quarantine and pandemic is unprecedented, and it is likely that you are not going to remember what you were doing when you were in high school, when you are an adult, when you were my age. I'm about to turn 34 years old, and I can tell you that when 9/11 happened, I remember that I was in 6th grade, but I don't really remember the rest of the details. And I wish that I would have had a journal to remember some of those things about what I thought back then, about what was important. And maybe 9/11 doesn't feel important to you, but to my generation it does. And this present moment is going to feel really, really important to you guys when you're older. Looking at how this progresses and how this plays out, I think it's all going to be really important. And it doesn't mean that you have to write these detailed journal entries. It doesn't have to feel daunting. You could write one sentence and just try to put into words what you experienced that day. What's happening in your house? How are people treating each other? Are you seeing people out on the street? Are you going to the hairdresser? What are you experiencing for the first time that you haven't done in 2 months? It's all really interesting how it's unfolding. So, tool number two. Tool number one, your breath. Always go back to your breath. If you are having a panic moment, if you are feeling angry, if you are feeling upset, if you are feeling anxious, claustrophobic, any of those things that probably a lot of us are feeling right now, your breath. Powerful, powerful tool. Number 2, journal. You are able to use that as a processing tool to write about whatever you want. Now, in that journal, there are a lot of different ways that you could write. I said you could write a sentence, you can free write, you can just write about your experience, or you could try writing some poetry. Next up, poems. The first kind of poem that I want to give you as a tool that you can use this summer is a note-taking technique that they have used in Japan since, I think, the 1400s. It is called a haiku poem. I believe that a lot of you had done these in like 4th grade, and they follow a very particular pattern. They have a very defined rule set. And that being, it is a 3-lined poem that are based on syllable counts. The first line has 5 syllables. Second line has 7 syllables. Third line has 5 syllables again. Syllables, if you need a reminder, is the beats in a word. Don't elongate words, don't stretch them out. Say them at a normal speed, and however many beats you count in there are your syllables. Whitney, 2 syllables. Okay. 5, 7, 5, 3-line poem, haiku poem. I'm going to show you a slide right after this to be able to, for our visual learners to be able to see. And I would like for you to try this method out. Usually when I have taught this in classes before, the second haiku is always easier. So that first haiku, it feels daunting. The syllable count can get to you because you don't want to kill your word babies, and maybe there's some ands and thes and buts and its that you could just cut out that would help to fit the poem into that framework. But I wanted you to try at least 2. Your first haiku poem, I would like for you to write about your feelings about school. It can be a memory of school. It could be what you're experiencing right now, going through a virtual classroom. It could be any assortment of thoughts, feelings, memories about school. So first haiku, school. Second haiku, I would like for you to write about nature. That is what these usually are used for. The Japanese developed them as a note-taking technique when they were sitting out in a Japanese garden to be able to do a quick note-taking session. They would write a 3-line poem about the trees that are budding outside, or the owl nest that is in the tree outside my window. And it would just be a quick doot-doot right in their notebook. So maybe you are not able to get outside right now, but look out a window, or think about a place that you really enjoy visiting outside, and try your little note-taking technique about the outdoors. Again, I'll show a slide right after this. Okay, get to write. Just like Cam, I am also a writer on top of my job that I do every day. And I would say that writing is my superpower. It lets me look at the world differently. It lets me gain new perspective. It makes me look at detail differently. I find new words and new ways to explain things on a day-to-day basis, and I truly feel that it's my superpower. I feel like it is a gift that I can give to you, to give you some writing prompts, to maybe discover some new ways that you can look at the world and try to explain some things. So we're going to try something a little bit different than what maybe you've done in classes before. And I want you to try to draw the back of your brain. Now, when you put your pencil on your paper, I want you to close your eyes. Okay? Go back to that breathing that we had at the beginning of class. And I want you to take a few deep breaths. after you've taken a couple of deep breaths, keep going and draw however your hand takes you. It can be on top of your free write. It can be on any kind of piece of paper that you find. It can be with a pen, it can be with a pencil. It can take a shape. It can be squigglies. I want you to do it in one consecutive line. I'm going to start a timer for 30 seconds and see what comes up on your paper. There is no wrong answer. 30 seconds starts now. What did you come up with? Take a second and look at it and see if you can draw any conclusions of what you see. Are you surprised by what you drew? Does it feel familiar? So looking at what I drew, let's see if you guys can see this. I went really slowly. I took 30 seconds and really let my pen just go do whatever it wanted. Some conclusions I see that I can draw from this is that it kind of looks like a person holding out a hand. It's reaching for something. What is the back of my brain trying to tell me? It also kind of looks like a flower growing up out of the ground, maybe? So our next writing task, I am going to encourage you to look at the back of your brain and to write a free-form poetry piece about it. Poetry is so dynamic and it can be boundless. You can share whatever thoughts come up about your poem or about your drawing, and write an ode to the back of your brain. Odes are typically love poems written in tribute. Now, once you start to craft your poem, we're going to be looking at the shape of our poem. So as you're writing it and thinking about line breaks and your wording, take notice of how your poem is taking shape. So I'm going to let you pause the video. There's no time constraints on this one. And we will come back together to kind of digest the backs of our brain. Okay, get to writing. So, how did your back of your brain poem go? I want you to know that you can rework poems over and over and over again. Sometimes they'll just never feel complete, and that's okay. It's just another one of the many tools that you can use to be able to express yourself, to be able to gain a new perspective, to look at things differently. It's simply a tool. And just like a hammer, you might never use it in your life, but it can be really valuable if you really need to put a nail in the wall, right? So I also want to give you a couple of other opportunities to try some different styles of writing. For some people, poetry is just not for them. And maybe you're more of a storyteller, maybe more of a free thinker. And that is absolutely welcome in the writing community. All types of writing is welcome in the writing community. So I would like to give you some opportunities to practice some creative writing and storytelling. And we're gonna do that with some writing prompts. In just a moment here, I am going to share on my screen about 10 writing prompts. And you can choose any one of them. And I would like for you to just sit with it, attempt at writing one of the writing prompts. If one of them isn't working for you and you're drawing a blank, try something different. There's gonna be 10 of them. You have plenty of choices. You can pause the video and then we'll come back and wrap up our session together. So why don't you give this one a try? Once again, this is supposed to be fun. This is not supposed to be difficult. You're not supposed to be stressing about it. If you find yourself holding your breath and feeling stressed, take a deep breath. Lower your heart rate. Reassess. Try again. Okay. So, find a comfy spot. Maybe change locations if you haven't moved during this whole video. Try a different spot. See if you get some new inspiration. Okay. So, here are your 10 writing prompts. I hope that this was fun for you. There are so many writing prompts that you can find online. If you are feeling anxious or feeling something and you can't name it, I say anxious often because that is the feeling that comes up the most for me, is I start to feel agitated and unsettled and I can't really put a name on it. And that is where my writing comes, it is such an amazing tool for me. That's where my superpower shines, is when I can try to dive a little bit deeper, gain a new perspective. So you can find a lot of them online. Pinterest is really useful for some of the writing prompts. You can also visit the Fish Trap website, fishtrap.org. We just put up a new youth programs section and there are resources on there for teachers, students, and parents. And so check out the students section. We have writing prompts, we have mindfulness practices, there's some online writing tools. Check them out. Use what you have and be able to give yourself some opportunities to try something different and be creative. It might be what gets you out of your head when you can't get out of your house this summer. Hopefully we'll be able to get out of our houses this summer, but you never know. So thank you for letting me join you in your homes, in your virtual classroom. I really, really appreciate it, and I was so happy to be able to offer this to all of you and to be asked to be here. So if you have any questions, if you are in need of a journal, of a book, of poetry, of stories, of collaboration, of feedback, please get in touch with me. You can email me, Whitney@fishtrap.com, or Whitney@fishtrap.org, excuse me. I'll put this up on a screen so that I can't mess it up here at the end. And you can also, if you are interested in me and my writing, I'm always happy to share it. My Instagram, you can find me at Painting in Poetry, and I will put that on the next slide as well. So thanks again for having me. I hope you have a wonderful summer. Way to stick with it and make it through the school year. You should be proud of yourselves. All right, take care. Bye-bye.